Hello everyone, I'm Major Jip, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit of something different. See, I've been going to thrift stores for as long as I can remember, and always looking to pick up some odd or interesting things, and usually I don't come across too much interesting stuff. But these last few months, I've came up with a lot of things I wouldn't expect to see in a thrift store. Or things that I've kind of picked up because they were really cheap. And I thought I'd just go over some of them and, maybe make a few videos of this stuff more in depth later on. So, I guess I'll just start off. The first thing, this was actually showed up at one of my local thrift stores down by my house. And it was clearanced off for $5. And it's this. A little Samsung 1 GB USB drive and music player. Now it's essentially just a MP3 player with USB stick capabilities, pretty much. And as you can see, it has made for, or plays for sure, or for Windows Media Player, 1 GB, which, this thing has been. This thing was made back when 1 GB would be quite a bit of quite a good amount of storage. There we go. It actually looks like it might use an OLED screen. I don't know for sure. I haven't actually seen much online about this, but I just thought that was interesting. And it also says light effect and 3D sound and MP3 and WMA. So, $5. It's a curiosity. It's still new in the box too, so go figure. Next thing is something else not really too interesting. This was also a quarter. It's emergency long life light. It's actually meant to be shaped like a floppy disk. And the battery inside of it uses some sort of lithium polymer battery, I think, mercury free, and it actually still works. Not much use today with all LEDs and stuff. It's actually just using a little incandescent, but 25 cents. It's a curiosity. Next thing I found at a local thrift store ran by a church, and it's the Scarlet Letter on Chinese VCD. I've never seen VCDs in any thrift stores before, and I find it funny to find, one for a Chinese market of the Scarlet Letter. I bought it just because it's a VCD, and it's actually, 3 discs. They have all sorts of other advertising for movies such as Showgirls and Judge Dredd. But and the company behind this, Intercontinental Video Limited, that's pretty much their only business, is taking these American movies, putting them on DVDs and VCDs, and porting them over to China. So how it wound up in a thrift store in my area is just so interesting. And this was $1. I couldn't leave it for $1 just because it's so random. The next thing is something I didn't really expect to find at Goodwill. A Sony Bloggie Duo. A working Sony Bloggie Duo for, as you can see, $10. And if you take a look at the back, you'll see this is the 4 GB model, which, it could be better. They had these on 4 and 8 gig models. What this is a Sony Bloggie with a front screen, so you could aim it at yourself and take pictures and video. I don't have much of an interest in it. I also don't particularly care for it because it's in pink. And it's a nauseating color of pink. But everything's all there. Comes in the nice little Sony box, and there's the bright pink camcorder. actually in pretty decent shape. The lens isn't scratched up at all. Both screens don't really have any markings on them. As I said, it works. It works very well. It's even holding a charge, as you can see. Or you can't see. Aim's right. One thing nice, it also has a little light for taking video, which is pretty useful. I don't exactly know what I'm going to do with this. But, you know, I can't. It's a full 1080p camcorder. If you're curious, it did have a few pictures and videos on it. I just cleared them all out and did a complete format of it. But that'll come in handy. I do tend to like calculators. Actually, I tend to like anything that has a vacuum fluorescent display. And that'll clue you in on what this is going to be. This is a Rockwell 22K electronic calculator. This has the instruction manual, a bunch of interesting papers, which I'll take a look at in a future video. And just so you can see it, there's the beautiful blue vacuum fluorescent display. This thing actually runs on 3 AAA batteries, which isn't too bad for a calculator of that age. Not nearly as bad as this calculator, which is a Sharp electronic calculator. I think it was 1974 this was made. And this actually has a nice green vacuum fluorescent display. You can actually, the micro is not very locked down in terms of, you know, key access. So you can really just completely confuse it by pushing down buttons and, you know, it doesn't know what to do. I find that interesting. Another thing of note about this is, what do I have? I'll probably pop it open with this. I want to show you the battery compartment of this thing. You can use a coin, but to open that, when you open it up, 5 AA batteries. I thought that was very, that's one more battery than the original Game Boy to run a calculator. But I suppose you need quite a bit of power to run that vacuum fluorescent display. That actually has a very nice sort of makeup on the main circuit board and stuff. I'm going to do a more in-depth video on this later too. I also picked up some that's probably not too interesting. I found it interesting though. An old Ever-Ready Energizer flashlight with, you know, typical incandescent bulb, which I believe this one will actually work on with one of the LED upgrades, which might be nice. But the thing I bought this for, because it was only a couple bucks, hey, it's a nice sturdy flashlight that I will hope to do an LED upgrade on. But if you look at in it, it still has the original batteries that came with it. And as you can see, expired January 2000. And as you saw, you know, show, you have both the same both the batteries are the same. And somehow they didn't explode. And they still light up the flashlight. I found that very interesting. I guess one last thing. Solar Adventure. This was found at a dollar store down by me. And it's a really hilariously dubbed Korean movie that's half sort of anime and half live action. It's really hilarious. You can actually find it on YouTube if you look it up and watch it. It's horrible, but funny. I think... one last thing. This is another thing I picked up for $0.25. It's actually a Scholastic calculator. Yeah, Scholastic being the people that go into schools and sell books and stuff, and I guess this came along that way too. Completely solar powered, which is pretty interesting. I like it because it's the shape of a chocolate bar. So you can see they kind of put it on to be that sort of shape. It does work. And yeah, this was 50 cents, and they had everything with a certain color tag half off that day. So this is another quarter. I also picked up, I don't have it right now because I already gave it to my girlfriend, but for $6 they had a Nintendo DS Lite with the stylus and a game. I forget what game was in it. It just didn't have the power cord. And once I got it home and charged it up, it worked flawlessly. That was pretty neat. So anyway, that's just a quick little view of what I picked up and what I'm going to be taking a look at in the future. Thank you for watching. Major Jip, signing out.